Hi, welcome to First Alert Weather Plus. I'm First Alert meteorologist Melanie Layden, and this is our daily streaming weather show where we talk about all things weather related, not just here in Middle Tennessee, but around the country as well. And today we're talking about the Atlantic hurricane season because now that we're into the month of August, things are about to start ramping up for us, at least historically they do. From the entire Atlantic hurricane season, August through October is typically always the busiest. And the reason why is because this is the time where all those ocean levels kind of reach their peak heat, and warm ocean water is basically just fuel for hurricanes to form. So we'll talk about when we get into the peak of that hurricane season, what we're watching right now, as forecasters do have their eye on two potential spots of some hurricanes that could be developing here over the next several days to come. So we'll get into that here in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the tropical climatology of all this. As I mentioned, we are looking at seeing the peak of the hurricane season about to be among us here. So let's take a look at this chart. And what you're looking at here is basically where we are today. We are just now getting into the swing of things as things are ramping up here. I'll take this full so you can get a better view of it. As we head into especially September into October, I think actually early September is really the peak to see tropical storms and hurricanes in general. And when we talk about major hurricanes, that's that kind of darker color, really any month here from August to November is pretty fair game for seeing historically some major hurricanes. What we consider a major hurricane is anything that's a category 3 or higher. Now, when you think back in recent history of some of the worst ones that we have seen, of course, one of the biggest ones that comes to mind is Hurricane Katrina that hit New Orleans back in 2005. One of the deadliest hurricanes in recent history. Over 1,000 people were killed in that one. Very strong hurricane, and also because all those dams and levees broke out that way, it caused a lot of flooding. So when we talk about major hurricanes, we have not had one yet. In fact, it's been a pretty quiet season so far, this hurricane season. But as you can see here from this chart, we are far from over. Today is August 6th, and we're going to reach the peak of hurricane season about a month from now, I'd say. So let's take a look at the two spots that forecasters are watching right now in our tropical outlook. The first one is going to be right here, kind of off the coastline of the southeastern coast of the U.S., near Georgia, the Carolinas. This is where we're watching one potential storm that could be developing over the next 7 days or so. Kind of a low chance of developing as far as the probability and the likelihood of it actually coming to fruition to become an actual hurricane or even a named storm. So that's kind of good news here. Nonetheless, though, even if it doesn't come into fruition as a storm, it could bring a lot of rain, maybe even some flash flooding to folks there along the coast. So we are going to be watching it pretty closely. The second area we're watching for some potential tropical development is way out in the eastern Atlantic. And this is going to be in an area that is several hundred miles off the U.S. coastline, as you can see here. But still a little bit early to tell. However, it has a little bit better chance of developing versus the one that's a little bit closer to the U.S. now. We'll call it a moderate chance of development here. So forecasters think about a 60% chance of development. Anything beyond that, though, still pretty uncertain, because if you take a look at its kind of latest projected path, although still early, looks like it could kind of swing back there into the ocean. So I wouldn't worry about it too much just yet, but we will definitely keep our eyes on these two areas of potential development here. This is all coming on the heels of Tropical Storm Dexter. This is our current named storm that you can see here is now sweeping out to sea, has not interacted with land at all, has not caused any problems for us, but as you can see here, it will keep on chugging along the ocean here and eventually turn into a low, a tropical depression, and looks like it shouldn't be impacting anyone or any big area of land. But as I mentioned, it's been a pretty quiet hurricane season so far for 2025. This is only our fourth named storm this year. We were predicted to have 18 storms this year, so we're a little bit behind schedule, but as I've said, once we get into August now, this is when things start to really ramp up again. If you remember, last year, Hurricane Helene, that was during September. One of the most devastating ones we've seen in quite a while, and that was the month of September. Of course, we had Katrina in the month of August. So just those kind of typical summer into fall months when the ocean water is kind of at its peak is when we have that kind of prime atmosphere for any storms to develop. Let's take a look here at some of our most active seasons over the last several decades. And you can see here, as far as the ranking goes from the National Hurricane Center, the number of hurricanes that we had in 2005 tops the list. And if that year sticks out to you, rightfully so, that was the year of Hurricane Katrina, one of the biggest and unfortunately most deadliest hurricanes that we have had in recent history. 15 hurricanes that year, 15 hurricanes. That's not even to mention just named storms of tropical storms, etc. So 2005 was quite a year. We go down to 2010, ranks in second place as 12 named storms. Ties the record with 1969 for 12 named hurricanes that year as well. And then take a look there at the bottom of the list. Coming in at number 8, ranking number 8. So the top 10 ranking of the most number of actual hurricanes that we have had comes in last year in 2024. And of course, that's when we had Hurricane Helene. We had many hurricanes off the coastline of Florida. Florida got hit by several kind of smaller hurricanes, but still did a lot of damage with flooding and storm surge. There were 11 storms, 11 hurricanes that year in 2024. So definitely has been a very active last year. Thankfully, this year has been pretty quiet. Hopefully, we can keep it that way as we go throughout the rest of this hurricane season. Again, so far, we've only had 4 hurricanes, or at least not even hurricanes, named storms. I don't think we've even had a true hurricane yet. That at least has impacted land. I'd have to go back and look at that, but only 4 named storms. But as far as hurricanes go, it's been a very quiet season, but we're not done yet. We will, of course, keep an eye on this for you as we go throughout the next couple of months. But for now, that'll do it for us for First Alert Weather Plus. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you ever have an idea of something you'd like us to talk about, please send it in to me. You can email it or find me on social media at Melanie Layden TV. Until then, we'll see you back here tomorrow around the same time for First Alert Weather Plus. In the meantime, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.